Well, my watch says 8 o'clock. I don't know about you
Oh,
folks
we'll
out
be here
there.
for an hour,
That's
so.
right. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, once again.
So we're
And,
not going to cheat you. We'll take more time if we can.
right. Now, the idea is that if you want to, you can call in on our line, our telephone number here in the studio. That number is 215-253-8877. 215-253-8877. Or you can ask your question on the chat room, which is available right now. And I suggest that if you call Valerie, who is psychic counselor, a medium, soothsayer, popular lady that's been on every television program that I'm aware of. Good Morning America, Good Day Philadelphia, Good Night America. She's just all around because she's about 85% correct in what she says. So that being said, her office number in Philadelphia is 215-483-8881. 215-483-8881. So let's hear your phone calls at 215-253-8877 here in the studio. One question, please. Nothing pertaining to your health. Please, it is irresponsible to make predictions of health, especially in light of this so-called, what is it, H1N1 virus that's going around that
Yes.
everybody is scared. So
Well, they are frightened.
before we go any further, Valerie, good to see you again.
You too.
And what is your opinion? I have all these mixed signals about this thing, and I'm just not panicking. I say I have a primary doctor, and he take care of me, and I called him. I said, Doc, what do you think? I don't want to hear the world's opinion. I just want to know what you and me. You're my doctor. I'm your patient. What should I do? And so he gave me things to do, and that's the end of it. So I don't listen to the news. I hear this doctor say one thing. What's your opinion for yourself personally? Never mind that crazy vice president of ours, Joe Biden.
Yeah, really. I don't really agree with the fact that, number one, I think that everybody, and I would give everyone advice out there, that for years, Irv and I have touched hundreds and thousands of people, shaking hands, etc., etc. I've always used a lotion that I got from the MRI Center from a girlfriend of mine, and if anyone's interested in ordering it, I'm not telling because they're closing over there to order it, but I'm just saying, I said to a couple of my clients recently, if you're so nervous and you don't want to have that alcohol smell on your hands, this is just a lotion that women use, and it's actually an antibacterial. And I use it after I touch people, and I shake hands, and it's for your sake, the next client's sake. It's not that I'm fearful of it, because I'm not a negative person. I'm more positive. I think when I wake up in the morning, it's a positive thing, not a negative thing. I don't think that way. I always said, Herb, something that maybe you can say is absolutely crazy, but it's using my intuition, okay? I have said since 9/11 that people should not go up to New York, should not go and sightsee, should not be up there at any particular point to go to that memory place. And most of the people that I know that did go up came home sick, or had gotten sick right after that with some kind of a flu-like symptom or something like that. And I have never heard of as much cancer as I have heard of in the past couple of years. The thing is that you have, unfortunately, bodies that are still there, and they rot. Rotting bodies bring disease. Unfortunately, we want to give our memory, put up a big plaque as they've done, things like that, but you don't go to the exact spot. And I have not. Now, I've always had my psychic perception on this, and what it's been is, Irv, that it wasn't just people and hijackers that came down on those planes. I always felt it was germ warfare. Now, things have gotten worse, you know that, since then. People have gotten sick, cancer has spread. I mean, cancer is not contagious. There is an upbeat thought about that. So there's a thought, which isn't upbeat, but there's a thought that people who take care of people with cancer may develop cancer themselves. Well, only if you are the kind of a person that is going to get it from the stress. That's how I believe, not from the person. You're not going to get that, or we'd have half of the nurses dead. And my feelings are still that I still have another feeling, Irv, that not only that, but I feel that when they had that plane that went over Western Pennsylvania, was towards Western, thank you. They saw a black helicopter following it. And it's my feeling that we shot down that plane. And look, I'm not blaming the government for that, because I have to say the plane was going down anyway. There was no way they wanted to turn it around and take it back to Washington. The plane was going to go down at any rate, and everyone was going to be killed. So it was a matter they saved, Washington through that. So my feelings are, don't panic. Don't panic, and don't be embarrassed to take all, if you go out and eat at a restaurant and you have one of those little wipes with you, don't be embarrassed if you want to wipe down the fork and the knife and the spoon with it. I mean, surely the hot water in the dishwasher did, but let's just say that you want to be extra careful. That's what I would do. Am I going to be running around with a mask? No. Will I stop hugging my people in the office? No. Will I be using my antibacterial? I always do anyway. And I think that's a good thing for you to teach the children to do. Is to carry a little package you can buy for them and have them wipe their hands several times after going to the restroom or after even eating in with other kids in the playroom. And don't let them eat or take off. When someone offers them a bite of something, don't do it. But that's normal and logical. It isn't something that we're saying we're in a panic. We have people dying. We do. But we also, in 1918, if I believe, had the flu epidemic.
Hello?
Yes, we have a caller on the line. Good evening. Your first name and your question.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear us?
My name is...
Wait a minute. Turn your computer down, please. You're going to get a feedback if you don't. So don't try to listen on the computer. Listen on your telephone, okay?
Hold on.
I'm holding.
And while he's doing that, I'll say, hi, Charles, since you're watching right now, wondering what happened. And hi, Armin, and thank you so much for running the sweeper for me. And that's someone who's my adopted nephew.
You can come over here and run over here if you want to.
It helps a lot when Armin helps.
So did we lose our caller?
Yeah, because the microphone wasn't on the right setting.
You can call back, sir, and if you do when you call questions for Valerie, please turn the computer down and listen over the telephone.
Here we go.
Here we go. Okay, here we go.
And okay, now we're on. And remember that this is just a normal thing we should be teaching our children anyway. Should we let our children play in the dirt? Of course we should. Should we allow our children to get dirty? Of course we should. If they're going to pick up a baseball bat 3 people have used, it's okay. But use the things. Teach your children cleanliness is the answer. Don't make them crazy with it, because they'll grow up paranoid.
Like
right?
me. Let's go to the telephone. Good evening, sir, ma'am. Your name, please.
Hi, my name is Ed from Chalfont.
Yes, Ed, and your question for Valerie, please.
Well, I have a kind of an unusual situation maybe to describe. I have a 16-year-old daughter, and she's lived half time with me for about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, she began dating a boy 4 years older than her. She's a good student, good athlete, and I've been really against this and trying to stop her. They text each other all the time. He actually went in the service, and they still are dating. And she has since this time really separated herself from me. I was very close with her, and I'm just wondering if she's going to ever change her mind or if she's going to stay the way she is. And it's very upsetting because I was very close with her. So I just wanted to see what you think.
Okay, I certainly think that a 16-year-old girl should not be dating a 20-year-old guy, or a 19-year-old guy, as a matter of fact. My feelings are that the more that, the old saying, come on, you're a man. A woman and a man, the more you say to someone, stop it, they're no good for you, you shouldn't be seeing them, what exactly is going to happen? They want to be with them more, isn't that true? It's kind of like I always tell people to come into my office with this kind of a thing, that I say, you're having a problem with your daughter, tell her you hate that pink sweater, everything's pink that she wears every single day, you absolutely love that pink sweater, you hope she'll wear it every day of her life, that she'll be wearing pink when she gets married. Guess what? 2 days later, she'll hate pink, and she'll be wearing blue because you're using psychology. Now, and what you're doing now, by defying almost your daughter to see this 20-year-old who is too old for her, that's true, you're making her want him more. And you have to remember, we're in a day now where kids are having sex at 12 years old. So I think this is one of your big fears that you're going through at this particular point. Who is this guy leading her on in some sort of a way to get her in a position that she's in love or thinks she is? As long as she thinks she's in love, she's going to fight you. And the closest that you've had together is going to diminish. Let me tell it to you this way. I hated the man that my daughter married. I absolutely hated that guy, and so did Irv, and so did everybody else that I know. But I gave her a wedding you would not believe. It ended anyway. And not only the tragedy of her death later, but the marriage was ending, and it was a terrible marriage. So I kind of went along with, look, I'm going to tell you something, honey. I don't feel good about this guy. So that's what I'd like you to do. I don't feel good about this guy, and I don't know why. I love you with all my heart. So if you have any problems, I'm not going to go after him with a hatchet, but just come to me and talk to me. I want you to know you've always been able to. I want you to do that now. But I am not going to stop you because you have to make your own mistakes. And I really feel that this will be over within a month if you do what I'm telling you to do.
Well, I'm really backing off, and I haven't, I hadn't really seen her, so we've really sort of had a piece of time now that she's not even speaking to me, and I'm not pushing the issue, I'm not calling her or anything, but she really doesn't live with me now.
Yes, so I know that.
I really miss her,
Chris, did you write to me about this?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I was just wondering, it sounds so familiar. You're David, right?
Oh, no, my name is Ed.
Oh, your name is Ed. Okay.
I might have written you a while back.
Okay.
Okay. Because it's been going on for a while, and nothing's really changed.
How long has it been going on?
Well, she's been seeing him for a year and a half, but the big break where she stopped seeing me and talking to me was about 3 months ago.
Okay. Let me tell you something that I'm feeling, Ed. There is a sexual involvement here. Now, you know that.
Well, he's in South Carolina now.
That doesn't mean a thing. They're seeing each other in some way, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a sexual involvement. We have a vulnerable girl, a young vulnerable girl. And what does every woman think in her life with her first sexual involvement? She's in love.
Yeah.
This is why I'm saying, is she living with someone else now, a female?
Her mother.
Okay, she is with the mother. Okay, well, her mother seems to be saying the father's crazy, that's you.
Right.
And that you shouldn't listen to a thing he has to say. You have every right to live your own life at this age. She's too young to live her own life. And that you can go and see him whenever you want, and I'll help you out financially. So you see what you're up against. So I'm saying, give her a call, send her a card, say, you know what, I've been thinking things over and I've been really harsh on you about this situation. I love you so much, you have to make your own choices. So please don't pull away from me. Be happy to know that I'm saying I made a mistake, and I know that you love me. I know that you love me as much as I love you. I'm not going to fight this situation, and I promise you this situation will end before the end of June.
Okay.
So,
Valerie, thank you so much.
Oh, sweetheart, will you let us know or let me know? And let me give everyone out there our phone number here, which is 215-253-8877 if you need to call me. And if you need to call me at home, sweetie, and get, a reading with me, and someone had sent me a note asking my prices. I never give them on the air, but I'm going to do that for the reason it's not like everyone else. I stay very, very low in my prices. It's $85 a half an hour. It's $150 an hour. And I do have some Saturdays open, but they're different and they're my time. But I work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and I work day and evening, so it's convenient for you. And if you can't come in, I can do a phone call for you. You can always call 215-483-8881, and I'll be happy to help you through this. And you might have to take another month to get through this, but if you send that letter to her just saying, you know how you can buy those cards that says missing you?
Yeah.
Well, send her something like that and just say, I really missed you and I've been a little hard, even though you're telling the truth. And I agree with you 100%. but you've got to give in a little bit, because when I told my daughter this guy's a jerk, and you remember that, you know.
Well, put me in the middle
I
of
put
this.
him in the middle of
No,
Helen's marriage
I don't get involved in family
he's not getting involved, but he did at that time.
That's
And the thing of it is that the more I would say, "Are you sure you want to do this?" the more she thought she could save the world with him. So don't go that way. In other words, give her the support. So after the wedding, I gave all the support I could. I bit my lip and gave the support. Your daughter's not going to marry this man. She's not even getting married until she's 24, 25.
Thank God.
So you've got to kind of keep her close so you can keep an eye on any of the guys. Don't make her hate you, because she can't hate you. She loves you too much.
Yeah.
So don't let another person turn her against you. I love you. God bless, honey. Bye-bye.
Right.
Thank you, Ed. Our telephone number 215-253-8877. You can get on the chat room with Valerie Morrison.
I got a story.
Yeah, you got a story. 15 minutes late, you got a story.
Well, no, it wasn't my fault.
It's
No.
never a technician's fault.
It never
It
is.
was some gremlin that attacked.
Well, a friend of mine years ago, many years ago, I went to date his sister, and of course buddies they don't like their one buddy dating his sister. Well, his mom liked me, his dad didn't. So me and his mom were cool. She was 40, and I used to beat the horn and try to hit on her. And he said, "That's my mom." I'm like, okay. Well, I started dating his sister. His dad didn't like me, so he became my best friend.
Did you see that?
And that was when that happened, relationship was over.
You see that? So you're telling exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That use psychology, and many times I say that to people out there. You know when they're kids, and she is a kid at 16, and you know yourself. You've talked to your guy friends that the first sexual encounter. What's it mean? The girl's in love. And that's what hurts the girl the most, is because when they come to see me or their parents bring them to me, it's because I said you feel really badly because not only did you give them your love, but you gave them your body and soul, right? And they say yes. Because a body is very precious to these young ladies. Very precious.
Valerie, we have some email, and the email is, "Dear Valerie, I just wanted to thank you for all that you do on the Irv Homer Show. I think it's very kind that you take the time to answer questions for all of us that are uncertain about aspects of our lives, and you bring a level of relief when we think the universe isn't listening. My question for you is this evening, is in relation to my love life. I've been casually dating this guy since October. I was wondering if he was ready to date me exclusively, or is it time that I give up on him, or does he need more time to think about things? We have had our own extensive past since we were friends for a long time, and that his mother left his father when he was 12. She basically said that she no longer wanted to be married or a mother. Personally, I don't know how anyone who has a child, no matter what happens with a committed relationship, could stop loving their children. I also wonder if he has any clue how I feel about him and if he feels the same way. But I'm afraid to say how he feels given in the past. Just to let you know, I'm a Scorpio and he is a Pisces." And that's from Chris.
All right, Chris, the one thing that I wanted to say is you knew this guy, you've been seeing him pretty intimately for 6 to 7 months, and if someone doesn't know they're in love by 6 months, then you got to kind of check out of that one and say to yourself, I've been good friends with this person, but is he using me? Has he said anything? Has he mentioned a future? Has he said, yeah, someday I'd like to have children, or yes, someday I'd like to get married, but not right now? Well, then that's telling you something. It's saying, do you want to wait till you're 40? It's just, I think, and I was just discussing this with my family and saying that a woman has every right, or a man, to say, look, I'm going to ask you a personal question, and is this friendship, don't say relationship, it scares a guy, is this friendship going anywhere at all? Are we going to, say, be together 6 months from now, or are we just going to be friends? And if they say, I thought that's what it was, just friends, then you turn around and say, well, guess what, I don't go to bed with my friends, and I'd like to be your friend. Because the one way to throw a man out of your life is to say, oh, I can't wait to be with you and marry you and live with you and have your children. They're gone. The other way to keep them is to say, look, I'm not waiting for a marriage. I don't want a marriage till I'm 30 or 35. Then they hang around saying, what's wrong with me that she doesn't want me? But my feelings would be, you can't blame the past. He can't blame his parents. He can't go to the past and say, oh, my poor me, you be my therapist. You be my psychiatrist. And you tell me, oh, can't you understand that this is what happened in my life when I was just a kid? Of course you understand, because you love him. Of course, and you should say, of course I understand that. But what I don't understand is, why are you living in the past when we should live each day at a time? Because, we don't know what tomorrow brings. So kind of help him through that. Walk him through that. Because he seems to care for you, but he's not going to rush, and he doesn't look as though he's ready for the commitment. So don't push it. If it isn't coming through by August, let it go. But bring up the past, bring up something and tell him, I don't want to hear the past. I don't want to talk about the past. If it's hurting you that much, it's going to hurt you the rest of your life.
Now, what about this relationship? Because she says she is a Scorpio and he's a Pisces. Is that a combination there, Valerie?
That's a very good
the moon
question.
signs don't make that much difference.
Well, it's a very good question because, it depends on what's in. I was just speaking to a woman on just as a friend, woman that's someone you know, in fact, and she was saying that she is a Libra with Scorpio rising. I don't know how we got into that. And I said, so am I. I'm a Libra with Scorpio rising. She said, well, I have a Gemini moon, for I chatter all the time. And I said, I have a Gemini moon. She said, what are we, twins? And so I said, it doesn't really make, you can't go by that. You can't sit down and say, God, this guy's a rotten guy because he's a Pisces or a Sagittarius. There are other planets in there to go along with yours. And you know Eugene Moore used to say that all the time. So don't go for a guy just because of the sign or a woman because of the sign. It doesn't.
No, but I mean the compatibility between two signs.
No, because I'll tell you.
He may be one thing, she may be something, may be good in their own relationship, but when you put the two of them together,
right.
It's like...
Well, there used to be, Eugene used to say water goes to water. That would mean Cancer would get along with Scorpio and Pisces, and so on and so forth. Fire signs with the fire sign. Don't believe that. Don't believe that at all. The thing of it is that it's nice to know a person's sign to remember their birthday, but I am not an astrologer, and after Eugene passing out of this world, I haven't seen anyone as good. So I'm not putting you astrologers down. I'm just saying that he happened to be an exceptional man, if you recall.
Our telephone line is open at 215-253-8877, 215-253-8877, and the chat room is available. And I suggest if you have any questions for Valerie Morrison, you get on in the chat room right now or use the telephone because the time flies once we start cooking. Dear Valerie, I read that my friends and I could email you up to 5 hours prior to your show with Irv this month. I would like to know if you see my daughters coming back to me. They have been kidnapped from me through the use of deception. My daughters do not want to come home due to the propaganda they have fallen prey to. What can I do to fight the sinister menace that has been hired to take our lives from us the way we knew them? Sincerely, Filene. Now, this is rather a tricky question.
It's a very deep question, and the thing of it is that, you have to understand that you have my sympathy on this. I think it's a terrible thing when children are separated from their parents, whether it be father or mother. My feelings are they are with a man and another woman. Now, I don't know what that means to you or who that might be, but I have a feeling it is someone very close to the children. They've been brainwashed, obviously, but you have to remember there are some things you've done in your past that you should not have done, and the children have been told about this. They should be more forgiving of this. There really is not a thing you can do. You can go to court, you can take a lawyer, you can have a lawyer, you can do anything you want. If a child is not going to want to come back to you, when they do come back, you're going to have a real contagious thing on your hands, because these children are going to hate you for stealing them back again. Yes, they're stolen. Yes, they're gone. And the thing of it is, you have to just let it go at this point if you don't want to go to a lawyer, and pray that someday they'll want to see their mother again. which I feel that they will. But at this point, they just aren't going to, and I'm so sorry.
Our telephone number is 215-253-8877 for Valerie Morrison. Valerie, I was wondering if I may ask one question. Of course, that's the purpose of this. I am dating this guy, and I was wondering if he was my soulmate. What is it with these? I'm dating this guy.
Well,
I mean, right then and there, and with no, insult or anything to the person who sent it, but you could say, I'm dating this man, I'm dating this gentleman, I'm dating this fellow. What is it with this, I'm dating this guy?
Well, I think guys become...
I think it shows a disrespect for the guy in the beginning when the question is asked. I'm dating this guy. Like saying, I'm taking my
How
dog.
about I'm dating a
taking my
handsome
dog for a
man?
pee or something.
The thing of it is that you say you're dating him, and is he your soulmate? Number one, I do not believe in soulmates, okay? You hear psychics out there spreading that word all the time. It's like saying, oh, you've got this guardian angel named Marissa that's out there taking care of you. How in the world could a psychic, even myself, say your guardian angel's name is Angela or something like that? And you're going to believe me because you want so much to believe me. I'll tell you who your guardian angels are, and then we'll go to your soulmate. The guardian angels are those people that have crossed over into the other side. They are the ones that take care of you. They are the ones that will keep you from harm. You may come this close to a truck, but you're going to escape it. You may get very sick, but you come out of it. And when it's time for you to cross over, and I speak with these people, then you will find out that they looked into the corner of that room in the hospital, wherever they were, with a distant look, because they saw their parents or someone else who had crossed over that takes them. So no one dies alone. I hope that gives you peace. As far as the soulmate thing goes, let me explain that also. Every psychic is using it. Oh, he's your soulmate. Well, what happens when you break up? Where'd your soulmate go? Number one, I believe in the term life mate. The life mate is the man that you love enough to want to marry, share things with, cry with him, laugh with him, be able to rub his back at night, be able to, and I do that, and do all the little things and chores that make both of you happy. And it has to be a two-way street. He has to help you too. But see this before you even say the word soulmate. I mean, have you been with him for 3 years? I don't think so. The thing of it is that you can't just say, is somebody my life mate, until you really look in their eyes and see the depth of the look in those eyes that are pure love. And let a man say, I love you first. Don't you be first to pin him against the wall. When he does, then it's up to you to say, I do too. I was hoping you would say that. But soulmate, forget it. No, it just doesn't work.
Valerie, this is from Idaho Falls, Idaho.
Okay.
And it's a question that we ordinarily wouldn't entertain, but we can do it.
We'll do it.
Dear Valerie, my good friend Carol Dodge's daughter, Angie Dodge, and the reason I'm mentioning her name is because it was probably in the press,
right,
was brutally murdered 13 years ago here in Idaho Falls, Idaho, and it remains a cold case due to a lot of the bumbling of the Idaho Falls Police Department. Carol seems to run out of leads, and I was wondering if maybe you could help us out from all the experience that you've had in working in murders and missing people. We really need help.
Well, number one, we know one thing, that she was murdered by someone she knew very, very well, and there was a trail left behind. I see a dark-colored car, which is a sort of van, like a minivan type car with the initial L and K in it. I have no idea what that means. I would be very, very happy to help with a cold case. I've worked with cold cases in different areas, and there's no one really better than White Marsh Police, Haverford Police, Havertown Police, and the Philadelphia Police. They really work hard at these cold cases. I'm one of the only people that entered as a psychic with cameras the cold case room in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And there are millions of people crying out for help there. But I want to tell you that if you can get a detective to give me a call that will send me a photograph of this lady and fax it to me, in fact, you just email me on ValerieMorrison.com. and my manager will give it to me if you have a photograph of her. I prefer black and white photographs for any crime things I work with because I see little pictures in them, and that's how I've solved most of my crimes. And I'll be very willing to work with the police. I do not work without the police. The other thing I wanted to say, Irv, is that tonight I really wanted to thank someone who watches us, which you know very, very well, is Chief of Police Carmen Petton, who, of course, where I worked on several murder cases with from Whitemore. She is now over at Havertown. And I received a call, again, from someone else who loves you. I received a call where they said to me that they were at a meeting, and the meeting was for first-time offenders, that they do that kind of meeting. The women get together and the men get together. And she admitted to me she had a son in prison for 20 years that got out. And I admitted that I had a son in prison that is getting out, hopefully in June. And they were both alcohol-related deaths, you know. But at any rate, I want to tell you that he sends his regards to you. And he was nice enough in a big meeting, because he just started over there, to say, but I want all of you to know, if you're ever looking for a medium or a psychic, the best I've ever run into with 3 solved cases that she helped me with was Valerie Morrison. So give her a call. Well, a couple people have, and they said to give you their love also.
Great. Valerie's office number is 215-483-8881. 215-483-8881. Our telephone number here is 215-253-8877. If you have a question for Valerie, please feel free to give us a call. She'll answer right on the air. And if you want to put your comment on the chat room, please feel free to do so right now. We do apologize because we usually send out an email letting folks know that you'll be on the air with us on that particular night, but because of the time schedule,
I will be on I will be on again.
The
last
Friday. Of this month. But
any other time you need me, I love it.
Two things came up. Well,
go ahead.
With this, it requires a lot of notification through email. It's not like just announcing it on your radio program. The Pew Research, that usually does pretty objective reporting, did a study on this whole issue of torture.
Oh, yes.
And when I was driving to work today, I kind of fell off the chair, and they said, people who believe in religion across the board have no problem with torture.
Well, I don't know. I don't believe that because.
Well, that's what the Pew Research Council said.
Well, they're wrong.
And I was driving to work, and I don't. It's a poll that's taken, and I don't. You know, the Bible. The people read the Bible, but they don't read it. They look at it, but it's a pretty vicious book. And there are things in the Bible that I was prevented from reading on the air. Now, people are going to say, "Oh, well, I'll read parts of the Bible on this radio program I do here, and I'll tell you, if I read that directly on the air, the station would take me off the air."
Yes, that's true.
And we're very selective in the things that we read. Believing in slavery, the Bible believes in slavery. It believes in oppression of women. It believes in a lot of things. You take your brother's wife. I mean, this is all kind of stuff that's there, and it comes from quote after quote after chapter. And in fact, when I had Dr. Laura on the Pro Radio program with me once, and she was quoting scripture from the Old Testament, someone well learned in the Old Testament called up. He said, "Well, do you believe this from Leviticus? Do you believe this from?" And she didn't know whether to, or blow a horn. So I found it interesting that comment was made. The other comment was something that I heard in the wee small hours of the morning, as Mr. Sinatra used to say, in the wee small hours of the morning.
My father's friend that I met.
And this, I don't know whether there's any credibility to it, but I found it interesting. We have iron in our blood, right?
Right.
Magnets will attract iron.
Exactly.
Allegedly, the Russians, and maybe we are too, that we don't know about, but we'll talk about the Russians, are using magnetic impulses by a gigantic generator that was bought from Westinghouse, believe it or not, that was made in Southwest Philadelphia when Westinghouse was in South Philly. And they call that Arizona hum.
Oh, yes, I've heard that.
Remember yes. And that they have fine-tuned it to the point that they can create havoc in a country like America or any of the enemies by using magnetic impulses affecting the iron in people's blood. Now, it makes sense that if you have iron in your blood and you use a magnet, you can possibly have some type of magnetic disturbance in the human body if you do it, fine-tune it enough.
Absolutely. But you see, this is what we're seeing in today's world. We're seeing, and this is true, ladies and gentlemen, understand, I don't want you to take the iPods away from the kids. But we're talking about magnetic things, iPods, magnetic. They're walking around with them in their ears all the time. And then they go into a school for no apparent reason, good student, wonderful student, and kill 3 or 4 people. I mean, I believe that we're being sent magnetically. This is my belief. Impulses to do something we would not ordinarily do. Now, they say hypnosis, that you cannot make a person do what they will not really do. That has been proven absolutely wrong.
Unless
they have the what?
The person really thinks that they will do it. I remember the discussion came up on the radio program this week about Lee Harvey Oswald.
Right.
And about whether or not he did it, and the conspiracy. It started because our inspector switched over from being a Republican to a Democrat.
Right. Remember? Yeah.
And I interviewed Lee Harvey Oswald 2 weeks before he killed John F. Kennedy. And they had given him a polygraph test in Texas because a lot of people don't know that the assassination of John F. Kennedy was a local murder.
Absolutely.
There was no federal case at the time he was killed. And so the Texas Police Department and Chief Wade blew it. Mm-hmm. There were no notes of the interrogation. There was no secretary there. Nothing. But Lee Harvey Oswald, I then took the tape and gave it to an uncle of mine who was with the Voice Stress Analysis Division at the University of Pennsylvania. And I said, Uncle Mike, do me a favor. Find out whether this guy really is telling me the truth. Because one of the questions I asked him, he was with the Fair Play for Cuba, handing out pamphlets in Dallas, Texas. I said, do you dislike America? And he said, no. I said, well, do you dislike the President of the United States, John F. Kennedy? And he said, he doesn't even come into my thought. I said, what about the Vice President, Lyndon Johnson? Well, he's a Texan, but I ignored him anyway. And so I gave the tape to Uncle Mike, and Mike ran through it. They ran through this thing total and said there was no way with that stress voice analysis that he killed John F. Kennedy. However, Uncle Mike said, if he was programmed in Russia, as the Manchurian candidate was, which is a real issue, he would be triggered to answer certain questions in a certain way.
Exactly.
And full polygraph, full voice stress analysis. I go, isn't there any way at all? He goes, there's no way at all.
Well, my feelings.
And the funny thing is, I don't know what's wrong. I must have a nervous. I don't know. 2 weeks before Rabbi Mark Kahane was assassinated in New York, I introduced him at the synagogue on Bustleton Avenue, and Gary went through the audience taking video film of everybody that was in the audience. There were over 400 people there. After he was assassinated, I contacted the FBI. I says, I have a video of 400 people that were in the room during his speech. We may get back to you. Okay. Never heard from them. When I said that I had a tape of Lee Harvey Oswald 2 weeks before he assassinated John F. Kennedy, we'll get back to you.
Well,
So, when it comes to the idea of a conspiracy, there's a lot. There's no way in hell that I would trust any government, including our own. No way. No way. Now, I'm not saying a conspiracy or this or that, but this stuff is stored away, and I've got it, and I won't show it to anybody or play it on the air. It's crazy.
Well, I'll tell you that.
So I sit here, and some guy shows his ass on Philadelphia Magazine, and he works on commercial radio station.
Right.
Who never interviewed anything but in fact, he has a female and a TC.
TC.
Well, why did they show her ass along with his and Greg's? I mean, the three asses would have been nice in Philadelphia Magazine.
I don't even know why.
Really class act, isn't he? I mean, you told me Michael was a class act and treated you with respect.
He did.
Did he show you his ass?
I was just stunned.
Did he show you his ass? Did he moon you while you were there?
No, he was very nice to me, and
I didn't ask you that whether he was nice. I said,
no,
did he moon
didn't show me
you?
anything, and TC was right behind him, and
Did she show you her behind?
No.
You think if I went on this program, she'd show me her behind? Or maybe Michael would show me. I'm worried about it.
Let's go back.
You're blushing.
I am blushing.
Yes, you always
knew
do that. Yeah, I know.
I wanted to tell you something about when this whole thing happened with Kennedy. I did not believe at all that Oswald did it at all. I believe that there were other methods in our government, and I did say that did this. And so this is going to have you in it too. This talk. So all of a sudden I get a call from our inspector, and I have proof of that because I have the book at home. I mean the notes and everything else. He sends me a whole bunch of attorneys that are young attorneys from Temple University. And he wants me to look at photographs of different people and tell them how they died, what country they were in, and, whatever happened to them. Well, I couldn't tell you how many hours we spent, days we spent. And I identified every single one. Now, they showed me a very young picture of Lee Oswald. And they said, what do you feel about this man? And I said, it's strange, he seems to be trance-like, almost in a trance. But I don't get that he has a murderous attitude within himself. I don't get that, so I'm not picking him up as well. And then they showed me a very young picture of Marina. Was it Marina? It wasn't his wife. And I said, this is a woman who's married, whose husband was killed. And, I went through the whole thing. Ruby, I do believe he was injected with cancer cells. I did believe that. I went through the whole thing. All of a sudden, okay, the book is shut up. I'm not permitted to put this book out. The government has stopped me. Now Charles said to me, guess who's on the show before you go on? And I said, who? And this is years later. He said, Arlen Inspector. I got to get over there, so if you remember that. Mm-hmm. So I ran over to the station, and you went on a break. And I turned to Arlen and said, Arlen, why are you lying? I mean, we went through all this. Do you remember who I am? I'm Valerie Morrison. I worked with all of your people. And he said, so? And I said, so why are you saying there was one bullet? And right on your show, without going on the air, because you didn't put it on, we were on a break, he said, what do you think I'm going to admit to on the air, Valerie? And you looked at me, I looked at him. Next thing you know, again, we have Secret Service coming in, but nobody took anything that I know of. We've had that happen on several occasions. So, do I believe that he did it? Absolutely not. The hypnotic thing is I just do not believe, unless there is, like the Manchurian candidate. I really believe that they can take someone and torment them out, that they lose their mind.
Well, there's a way of... would someone bring me that Philadelphia magazine, the latest one? I think whoever is watching the show tonight should get a look at Michael Smirkanich's ass. So, ladies and gentlemen, and Michael does a hell of a show. The reason I don't talk about the radio station that I'm on in the morning show is because I can't even hear it where I live.
Well, you haven't shown yourself.
I doubt very much whether you could hear me or not. So I catch Michael when I can stand him. But I hope you already had your dinner, because what I'm about to show you is not going to help you digest your food. But here is a picture of Philadelphia's leading a talk show host in the buff in the latest issue of Philadelphia magazine. Now, someone said that his ass has been brushed. Well, I hope it's been wiped. I don't know whether it should be brushed or not. But I
posted the link in the chat room so they can take a look at it.
I beg your pardon?
I posted the link in the chat room so they can take a look.
I think I should do my best to give Michael as much exposure as he's given the rest of the country. So, if you will, do you need a copy of this?
No.
You take it right off there?
Yeah, I put it in the thing.
Yeah, it'll be on my chat, on whatever it is that Ron puts it on. And it will also be on the, it's on the website, or on your... Well, it's on PhD's website. But I think we should expose Michael. I mean, after all, man wants to pose with his tongue out, I think we should expose it as much as possible.
Well, what I think I would worry about...
Well, Michael, I think you're a horse's ass for doing it. That's the first one.
What I would worry about more than anything is what children are cruel. You know, are they going
He
to
has
bring
3
in
children.
pictures of this, that he has children? Are they going to show pictures and say, this is this your father? And, you know, and other people are going to take it. He's got to really look at this, and I really liked Michael.
I do
liked doing
too.
his
He's
show.
nuts.
I like doing the show. I really don't get
Well, any
tired of
lawyer's
tuning in.
crazy. I
But
mean, the guy's a
but the
lawyer.
thing
They're
of
all
it is
nuts.
that when I spoke to him, he seemed like a level-headed man who really even was questioning my ability.
No, he was good with you. I heard,
Yes, he was.
Listen to the entire interview. He was very fair.
And I didn't get a chance to say to him the things that you and I have spoken about. You know, you go into the Old Testament and you go into the New Testament. You have Joel and you have Acts. And the only line in the Bible, ladies and gentlemen, the only thing verbatim in Joel and Acts is before Jesus came, the Son of God. Before, if you believe that, whatever religion you believe in, listen to the fact. The Old Testament says, your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall have visions. And that is repeated verbatim in the New Testament. So if that's, you have people out there arguing, well, psychics are witches, psychics are this. There's a lot of bad psychics out there. Right now, the economy's pulling them in. They're coming out of the woodwork.
I think we elect him to Congress most of the time.
Yeah, and the thing of it is that if you read that, you know, how could that one verse be repeated twice? You know, in the Old Testament and the New Testament, unless it is true that we do have gifts and that a lot of people out there have these gifts. You just have to learn to use them, and they're out there. And, you know, by the way, I'm going to be helping those people with Carmen Pettin, who's chief of police out there, and telling them how, with my daughter being killed the way she was, someone drinking at the age of 78 took not one girl away from me, but a whole family. And how anyone out there, the man that spent 20 years, of the woman I spoke to today, not mentioning names, the one who loves you, and she said they get up and they speak, and they've saved quite a few people from alcohol. And this is the thing we have to look at. Please, when you're driving your car, kids, if you're out there listening, I know a lot of you ask how to reach us just to listen. No, a man 78 killed my daughter drinking. It doesn't matter if you're 78 or 17 or 16. You know, the thing of it is you kill a whole family. Or what if, like one case, and I will say this, one case that I dealt with where the twins were in the car just a few miles from home, and the one reached down to get a CD, and she hit the tree, and both of them were killed. Losing your 2 daughters near your home. Think about what you have done when you drink. Now, the other thing is the cell phones. I'm going to go into the cell phones. They don't want you to hold a cell phone to your ear and speak, all right? I can understand that to a degree. The other thing that I don't understand is they want us to now have hands-free. Am I right, Ron? Am I right? Okay,
Yeah, I have a hands-free.
I cannot talk without my hands. So if you're going to give me a hands-free phone, where at least I'm going to have my hand on the wheel here and being more careful if I have to answer the phone for a second and say, look, let me put you on speaker. Okay, my hands are still going to go like this. And the other thing that bothers me, ladies and gentlemen, and you must know this, that they want to take the drinking age down to 18.
I think there shouldn't be any drinking age at all.
18.
There you and I differ.
What? 18. Tell
Are
me
they
what.
nuts? I'm sorry. I mean,
No,
I
I-
used to be 18, and I know
Well,
what it
they
was
think
like.
it will stop the college kids.
I think that the
From
whole
drinking in their
idea.
parties.
No, we're getting off
No, it'll
of.
increase
We're
it.
getting off of the of Valerie Morrison and getting into some
Well, we
serious
do
stuff.
that, don't we?
I think that the idiocy of a drinking age at 18 is like, I can't wait till I'm 18 and then I'm going to get bombed and start drinking.
That's it.
Mhm.
I've been in France, I've been in Italy, I've been in Germany, I've been in England. Never is there any drinking age there. Italian children will be drinking wine
Oh,
at
sure.
4 years of
Sure.
age at the table. They'll know what alcohol is. France, the same thing. Spain, they make something there that'll knock your socks off, and they don't call it alcohol. But this idea, and I'll say something here. Here's something for you. You since you're not Jewish, okay?
Yes, I am.
Oh, shut up! You are not.
My mother's Jewish.
You've never been circumcised. So anyway, I want to.
I'm Jewish.
I want to know. Well, most of us are. I want to know, and I brought this up on my program, and I like to ask questions that are not asked.
Right.
Jews go through the rite of passage as young men.
Yes.
At 13 years of age.
Right.
A Jewish boy will go through the rite of passage.
Right.
He's indoctrinated that he puts away childish things. He assumes the responsibility of a man. And if the rabbi that teaches him an instruction in the parent sheet, I got pretty well indoctrinated into this business, and I indoctrinate Ron that you're no longer a baby. Past 13, you're a man, and you do man things. We all do childish things, which is acceptable. But bottom line is, at 13, you become a man. Some of the Maasai tribes in Africa, they take a 13-year-old, they put him out in the woods with a spear and say, kill a lion before you come back.
Mm-hmm.
And he can be out there for a year by himself. Christians don't have a rite of passage for their boys. The rite of passage, though, is 18, so they can drink.
Well,
that is insanity.
I know that.
And then we come up with this crazy, they're drinking, teenagers are drinking. Well, maybe if they knew what alcohol was at 11 and 10, legally, at the table where Papa is... I learned about drinking when I was 14 years of age.
After your bar mitzvah.
No. I went and had a beer, snuck a beer with a friend of mine on the way home from school. And my mother smelled beer. My father came home from work. He says, how'd the beer taste? I says, pretty good. He said, well, come on with me. I said, yeah, okay. We went to the Van Kirk Cafe. I'll never forget it, at Van Kirk Street and Torresdale Avenue. And he said, if you want to act like a man, you're going to drink like a man.
Oh, no.
I threw up for 3 days. I thought my mother was going to kill my father. Your mother, what? He wants to be a man and drink? Let him drink. I didn't take a drink again until I went in the Army.
I can understand.
That is nonsense. At 18, you can't drink. I know Shirley's grandsons. They can't wait to get that driver's license. That's the rite of passage. Yeah. I'm going to get a learner's permit, and I'm going to get a car, and then I'm going to. This is such insanity that I can't understand why society deals with it the way they do.
When I was 13 years old, my father said, what do you want for your birthday? And I said, I want to smoke. Everybody else around me was older, so they were smoking. And he said, fine. And he gave me a pack of Camels.
Said smoke them.
Said smoke them all. I was like you.
3 days.
So sick. I never wanted to see another cigarette. I was sick.
Oh, no. My mother made my sister eat one.
Oh, no.
You really like it? Eat it. And Millie went, your daddy killed me.
Well, I guess there is such a thing as alcohol poisoning to a degree, not the big degree, but I'm not talking about the big degree college get and they die.
Another question that you ask on talk radio, which is a legitimate question, which is why I'm not on commercial radio. Where did you learn about sex? Was it a magazine? Was it the billboard? Was it in the men's room and the ladies' room? Or was it among the girls? I don't want the school to teach my kid about sex. What do you teach him about it? Not to do it. The most stupid thing is, a young man wants a hamburger, right?
Right.
So he says to his daddy, he says, can we stop at the McDonald's? Because I'm hungry. Takes Pop, takes kid to the kid's hamburger, right? Kid says to his father, guess what, Pop? I got an erection. Well, don't use it till you get married. Wait a minute, you just gave me a hamburger when I was hungry. Now you're telling me not to use this thing till I get married. What do I do in the meantime? I didn't ask it to go up, it just went up.
You know, I had growing up, and this is the honest truth.
But these boobuses in our society, I don't want sex education taught in school. Okay? I'll teach it at home. What do you know about sex? How many positions are there? Why do they call it a missionary position? So, there should be a law against stupidity. We get rid of half the population in America. You may now continue.
I was just going to say I knew nothing about sex. no one ever taught me anything about sex. When I was 13, I knew nothing about
Let
sex.
me correct you, and I should correct myself. Sex is a pronoun. It's not a verb.
Right.
You don't do sex. How do you do sex? How do you do male or female? You're taught about intercourse, or you're taught about oral sex, but you don't teach sex. And then they want you to be speaking perfect English.
Yeah.
Let's have sex. What would you like? A male, a female, or a lesbian, or a gay?
I never had anyone that taught me anything about sex, and I married literally knowing nothing about it. Of course, I met a couple.
You knew all about sex. You were a female. That's your sex.
Well, I mean, when I got to be...
You didn't know anything about intercourse.
About 13.
You didn't know anything about a man going, baby, here, boom, 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 boom. On your...
I was very protected. I really was very lucky. Not just my dad protecting me from Sinatra and the rest of the big guys that I'd been with in his club. I mean, a lot of guys hit on me. I looked like I was 21. I was passing for 18 as it was, illegally in my dad's club. Strapless, big, and long hair all the way down.
Why is it all the men think because a woman has big bosoms, she's loose?
I don't know that, but I think the thing of it is that most guys like big breasts.
But where does that hook into the fact that a woman with big breasts? I know one of my neighbors. I used to take Debbie. She was 14 years of age, and she had a chest up. She had a chest up, and she was friends of our family, and Ron and Gary and Fran and I. We took Debbie with. My kid got in a fight on the beach. She had a white bathing suit on, and she was like 15. Well, how old was she, Ron?
Uh-huh.
Debbie Shaw. 15 when we took her down to shore.
Yeah, about that.
I thought we were going to have to clean out the beach. And the kid was the most innocent kid because some guy said, I'll teach my kid about sex. I don't want the teacher talking about it. How many sex problems do you get from people that... I don't want to be specific.
A lot. I get a husband and wife a lot of times. That's not just my work is just seeing one person at a time and not speaking to the families about death, and who crossed over and what they're saying to them at this particular point, which thank God I am successful in doing. But the thing and giving them peace.
Isn't this good? Better than the crap you listen to on WPHT?
And the one thing that I know that. There'll be a time a wife will come to me and she'll say this, or this, or a husband, this, I'm not getting any sex, I'm not this, I'm not that. And then I set up, if you want to, you make an appointment for an hour, which is only $150, as I said, even for two people. It's only, the same. It's that 1 hour is 1 hour. So you come in with your wife. You learn
more than going down to the casino blowing $150.
You come in with your wife, you come in together, and you would be surprised as I look at the husband or the wife, both of them, because I'm not going to blame just one. I will pick up certain things that are happening, and you'll see the wife go to him, and then you'll see him look at her. So I'm picking up. I'll give you one example of what I've gone through in my office, which should be shocking, but as a therapist, also, besides being a psychic, it doesn't shock me. A woman came in and said, I can't sleep with him anymore. I've been married to him 20 years. And I said, well, you tell me what you think the problem is, and then we'll see what he has to say. He wants to wear my pants to bed every night, my panties. And I said, okay, if that's the only thing he's doing that's wrong, is wearing your panties to bed at night, and you've put up with it for 20 years, and you suddenly are saying that you don't like it anymore, let the guy go. Let him wear the panties. What's the big deal? I mean, some people are into rough sex. I've heard that in the office. Some people are into other things. Some people are into just straight. There are some men that only believe in you get the missionary position up. They get on top, you do it or you don't do it, A lot of women complain about that. So
one of the things that I used to get, I don't know why I did it. Corey used to do the sex show, but I used to get the man. Woman sent me a letter once, and all these letters I gave to Fran, I say, here, you call me, you answer them for me. I don't want to, different thing. She was a woman who wanted to have intercourse with her husband.
Right.
Every time she said it, what are you, some kind of whore?
Huh.
Men inhibit women. Men, it's all right to run around,
right.
Like they're going to pole vault over the backyard fence. But a woman can't say, I want to make love, I want to have intercourse tonight. This is the programming of this Judeo-Christian bullshit in this country that is making me nauseous, and I'm hungry, so we're going to go get a bite to eat. I hope you enjoyed what you heard tonight. If not, it didn't cost anything.
Love you, everybody, and Frank, thank you for everything.
And you don't have to buy a Ford or a Lincoln or anything, or some kind of something that's going to make you poop. So you got it for nothing, so be happy. Anyway, you can contact Valerie at her office at 215-483-8881, 215-483-8881. You can email me at evilirv@irvhomer.com. And Ron, thanks for putting that thing together. Eventually, don't worry about a thing. We'll see you on Monday. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Ron.